Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Instagram at Unique Yet Connected. You are now listening to episode 57 of Unique Yet Connected podcast. The theme for this episode is I am me and you are you. Let's be independent, baby.
The independent stage leads into the inter-independent, because in the independent stage is when you understand who you really are. This is the stage where you realize that you had a wish that materialized, but when you made the wish, you didn't know what it exactly entailed. Now you are wiser by it and know what you really want. The question is it possible to have both of them? If yes, how can you have them both?
Hello, brilliant souls in and around the world. Nolitha is my name. Dolokas is my clan name, and this is episode 57. A warm welcome to Unique Yet Connected podcast. As always, Kinga and Nika on the other side of the virtual. Over to you, Kings.
Thank you, Noli. Hello, dear listeners and co-editors. I am Kinga Siladi.
Thank you for joining our movement of translating this wisdom of systemic family constellations into a practical language that all of us can easily understand and, most importantly, implement in our daily lives. In the previous episode, we further explored the natural stages of romantic relationships, which are the codependent stage, counter-dependent stage, independent stage, and inter-independent stage. We finished the last episode by looking into how you can lose your zest for the relationship in the counter-dependent and in the independent stages.
Yes, I would like to ask you something. Did you know that a lot of people in Germany don't move in with each other when they start a relationship?
They don't? I had no idea.
Everyone stays at their own places, even though they are a couple. One of the reasons they do that is because as soon as you move house, counter-dependency is going to start. They are trying to avoid the counter-dependent stage and go to an independent stage right away. With that, they also step over the first stage of codependent and probably lose something valuable and beautiful from their relationship.
I'm thinking that as we grow older, we get to a more practical side of life where we hold back a little, based on experiences and stuff. But what I admire about young people is that love seems to be so exciting for most of them. They go in fully. And my younger self relates more to codependent love and counter dependency. And it came with a lot of heartbreak, though. I kind of understand people in Germany, though it feels like holding back and not being fully in the relationship. And my question then is, can a relationship enjoy a healthy state in this choice? And I'm questioning this because you said the relationship can probably lose something valuable and beautiful if it jumps stages.
I don't know if it's healthy or not healthy, because as I said, that little fire at the beginning, that codependent little thing, that light, it stays in the relationship. And if you never had that light, it might be missing from your relationship.
Thank you so much, Kings, for talking about that light. The other day I was thinking about the light of my relationship with my husband from 6 years ago. And it really warmed my heart, just to think about that light. And what's interesting about it is our relationship started in the middle of May. So we're heading towards winter in South Africa. So he would set up the fireplace and cook for me. And he really nurtured me. So I would put my feet up and enjoy all the warmth that he came with. So we were inseparable at that point. I spent most of the time at his house. He was really firing things up in our relationship, and we were codependent. Even when I went home, we spent most of the time on the phone and making plans to see each other again. So it's interesting, though, of how much people try to avoid certain stages as a safety and practical measure to keep the relationship out of conflict. It's like putting on an armor that I will not be affected by this relationship. I've got everything under control. I feel that I feel that thing alone, that control, that wanting to put on an armor, could be a trace or a sign of codependency. I could be wrong, but these natural stages are almost like the law of a romantic relationship growth and health for me. And it's a life cycle of the romantic relationship. Can couples really skip a stage or these stages? Or we think we can, because I'll tell you later why.
I believe it depends on the person and what they are looking for. I often hear from someone in their 60s that they are looking for companionship and stopped looking for love. Maybe it happens because they want to avoid the counter-dependent stage, or they already developed beyond it. That is also possible. Maybe they don't believe that love could still happen. But for me, it actually means that they are not looking for a romantic relationship, because companionship, it could be your friend. Am I right?
Yes, that's right. You said something, not believing love could happen again. That's something. You are listening to episode 57. The theme for this episode is I am me, you are you. Let's be independent, baby. Remember, when you comment, ask questions, like, and share our content and links, you help us grow together and change lives together. Like us on Facebook and on Instagram.
Companionship is an understanding between two adults that is better for us to be together. That is why I think that it is necessary to go through all the stages of relationship, even if you spend a shorter time in the stages and experience them differently than in your youth. But you have to have that codependent stage at the beginning. You even need the counter-dependent, because the counter-dependent is a stage where, because you love this person, you learn to see and accept that there can be different perspectives than yours, yet your love for each other can survive.
Yes, this is why I asked that question. So when I met my husband, I was trying to avoid these other stages without being aware. So I only realized later that this was happening. As I was working with the codependent behavior for self growth and transformation, that's when I realized certain things that, oh, I was trying to, avoid this stage, but then it caught up with me somehow. So with all the experiences from the past, marriage and relationships, we couldn't. We couldn't avoid the codependent and counter-dependent phase. And I feel the only difference now is that we're both healing parts of ourselves and are wiser in creating this healthy environment for our experience with each other. So we are learning to accept each other in a healthy way, and to understand each other's ways of doing things. The conflict happened, as we said in the last episode, when his children came into our space. So the conflict was forced. We were forced to look at each other. We were forced to look at our parenting ways, the different ways. We had different values. We had different thoughts about parenting. We had different things we wanted to instill in the children. So, and also, I realized then that we had a different way when the children are around in how we would like to keep the home, you know? So, yeah. And when it was just the two of us, we would get away with a lot of things, certain things we overlooked them, we didn't see them. But I now know that when there's a third party, whether it's a family member or children or whoever, it cannot be avoided. So we got to the counter dependency, whether we liked it or not. It's just that it was a delicate process. It was not as aggressive as it was in my past relationships. That was my experience. And maybe it's also because Kinga and I were already working. So as we were working on the codependent stage, I was going through all of this. So that series was a long series. So as we were working with that series, I was going through this. So she also helped me to kind of transition and shift certain things at that moment.
I believe this is the reason behind we are doing the podcast, to help all the listeners and everyone to move through the stages easier, to move through life easier. Back to your relationship, when I look at what is happening with you in a life of first having a committed, then at later stage a no longer committed father in your childhood. I assume that right at the beginning, when you started your relationship journey, more than probably you said that the person I want to be the father of my children has to be a committed person, committed to his children and me. And now in Caesar, your husband, you got your wish. You have a father who is very committed to his children and is doing exactly what you would expect him to do when you have children together. But it is not as comfortable from this side as it looked from that side. Because he's doing exactly what you wanted, but these children happen to be not your biological children, and they come with a mother who happens to be not a person who gives you a great time. All of this was not in your original picture. When you ask for something that you want, it doesn't always come in the packaging that you imagined it to. You are not fully happy about the existing situation now, yet going forward, when you have children together, you want him to stay exactly the same with your shared children as he is with your stepchildren now. Am I right?
Yes, you've nailed it.
To keep things in the wider perspective is very difficult. We are human beings and we want things to turn out according to what is the best for us.
To say this is the true reflection of people closest to me. This is how they bring me into clarity. So she's laying it out as it is, and it's so true. You can all hear it. And she's so right. When we are in our own frustration, we lose the perspective. The reason why I don't have children of my own today is because I wanted a committed father. I wanted to do this with someone I could trust as a father. So she is on the money, and now she says, my husband is doing it. What is my problem? And I want him to do it, even to our children together. So this is a very eye-opening question, Kings. And I think every time when I'm in the frustrated point, when my boiling point hits, I really need to stop thinking about my picture and just think of the bigger picture. Like this person is committed as a father and see it as such. And also that the children need the father. So no matter how hard it gets, no matter how challenged I feel, this is for all of us. And I mean, there are other bonus mothers and stepmothers and bonus fathers and stepfathers out there who are struggling. And I know that the struggle is real because you also have no control of what other parents on the other side are doing. So it becomes a very layered situation. But I thank you, Kings, for bringing that to light for me and as something that I need to start asking myself about. And hopefully in the next episodes, I'll share something
Tisa, your husband, is confused because he feels he is being exactly what you want from him in the future. So he doesn't understand what is your problem now. I'm just proving you that I'm exactly what you wanted me to be.
Oh my goodness, it's like you were there the other day. He said, I know you love children, and I'm really like hearing you now. I'm sure he was so frustrated because he just couldn't understand that, like, what is this friction about? I'm really doing what I know you want me to do, but you don't seem happy about it, or you seem stressed, because I've been under a lot of stress about the situation.
If you wish for a caring partner, the partner is not going to stop at caring just for you. There will be a bigger circle. He's going to care for his friends, his family members. If you wish for an ambitious person, this ambitious person is going to be a natural leader. He's someone who is quite dedicated to his work, which means that he will often not be available to you. And this for you could feel like he doesn't want to spend time together with you. If you complain about this, he will not understand you. He will wonder, even get upset about what you want from him, because he is doing exactly what you were looking for in a man. What you wish for in a partner is normally what was told to you to be good qualities in a partner by the parent who was the co-parent of yours. The co-parent is the one you trusted the most or whose approval you wanted to get the most. My father was an introvert. He liked to read and he liked to contemplate on life. Next to that, he was quite ambitious. He always reached the position of the boss wherever he worked. But at home, by my mom, he was considered lazy. I knew already as a child that somewhere down the line, I'm going to look for someone who is not lazy. So I ended up with a lovely person who is a workaholic. Now here I am complaining that there is not enough time spent together and he doesn't understand what I want from him. He's working for the family. He's doing exactly what I wanted. I chose him for not being lazy.
Oh my word. This is quite an interesting, twist to this episode, I must say. Today you are really challenging us to reflect. So if you say you want a loving person, the person is going to not to just love you, they are going to love everyone around them. So that's what Kinga is saying. So you gotta be comfortable with that. And there's something in what you are saying, and I think after this episode, we might need to explore that a little bit when it comes to relationships, because we do say those things that I want a loving person, and then when that person starts being loving to other people, it makes us uncomfortable. And why does it make us uncomfortable? And I think that is the big question, because what would you prefer? Would you prefer him to be loving to you and not love the rest of the people that are in his life? And or do you want to control how he loves, or she loves, So that's also like the most important thing. And I think you are leaving us with something to really think about. If you want an ambitious partner or husband or wife, what does that mean? And then it would mean certain things. What does that mean? And it would mean certain things. And are you prepared for what it really means? And are you looking at things correctly when you're complaining about the things that you wanted? So maybe before you start to complain, start looking at it correctly and ask yourself, what does it make? Why does it make you feel uncomfortable? If it's something you said you wanted.
Good question to ask yourself. I wanted to just bring in another example. If there were a lot of fights at your childhood home, you might end up choosing a person who is non-confrontational because you don't want all those fights to replay themselves in your adult life. Your chosen person is not allowed to fight you directly because that you can't tolerate. The only person who fits this criteria is a passive aggressive person. You learn from an early age that communication happens through fighting and will more than probably be argumentative by conditioning. But when you, as a couple, interact with the society, you will expect this passive-aggressive person or passive person to fight for you and you as a couple, but he will not. And this makes you feel like you have to fight all the fights for you as a couple. This becomes even more challenging when it is a male who is the passive-aggressive in your relationship. You tend to forget that he was chosen for his non-verbally abusive qualities.
So you gotta take the responsibility of your choices. Is this what it means?
Yes, and you must not ever exclude the little one in you. You must never ever forget about the little one inside you. All the experiences that you went through. This little one has a picture of how life should be, and you will subconsciously follow this picture. If you try to exclude the little one, you still look for your magical world that was created back then. You have a dream of what it will look like when you grow up and be in a relationship. I say magical because this picture is not seated in reality but in imagination. Your child might dream about having wealth, but the child doesn't know that you actually have to work for it. The child imagines the most magical ways of achieving the thing that she wants and wants her bread buttered on both sides.
Can you expand on that, please?
What you wish for as a child will look different when you become an adult because a child has very simplified thinking. She takes everything literally. There are no layers to the wish.
I totally get that. I can relate to taking things literally, and I think I was that child, or the inner child in me still does. And with all of this, then, Kings, how does it relate to being independent?
The independent stage leads into the inter-independent because in the independent stage is when you understand who you really are. This is the stage where you realize that you had a wish that materialized. But when you made the wish, you didn't know what it exactly entailed. Now you are wiser by it and know what you really want. The question is it possible to have both of them? If yes, how can you have them both? The independent stage helps you to transform your wishes to tangible ones. How can I be kinder to myself and my reality? And with that, how can I be kinder to the others around me?
And this feels like it's already talking to the next journey of self I'm about to embark on. The inter-independent stage, it really intrigues me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to even going through the series with you on that one.
As I said in the previous episode, the inter-independent stage is about choice. You are not together with your partner because of force of an unfulfilled need inside you, but you are together because you choose to be. In life, you have to accept that every decision had a cost attached to it, but it will always also bring you a gift. The little one inside you should be seen, but the little one shouldn't run your life. She is not equipped to do so. She needs to be lovingly disciplined. Disciplining means teaching and not punishment, by the way. In a safe environment, your wonder child re-emerges, and the little one in you can enrich your life with wonder, beauty, curiosity, and openness to new experiences.
That's one thing I need to remember is to what you said that the choice, there's a cost attached to choice. So I must also remember that there's also a gift. And I think that's something, yeah, that's something that I still need to polish more. So thanks for that, Kings. And in closing, because of what you said when we started this series about the inner child and the codependent, the natural stages of development, how does all of that connect to this? And just before we close, I'd like to bring that in again so that our listeners can understand why we're bringing the little one into this episode.
Yes, we are talking about the natural development stages of relationship. According to John Bradshaw, your relationship development follows the inner child development stages. There is an unquestionable relation between the way we grow up and develop and our understanding of human connections. Here is a little gift to do with your inner child. It is one of my favorite things to do with her, is to write a potency list. Here you write down all the things that you can do or own now and were wishing to do or have as a child. For example, you own a car and you also learn to drive a car. You can drive yourself wherever you want to go. You can go to the shops and decide what you are buying. You can impress your inner child with your potency list, which would be sounding like we now have a car, we can buy as many candies as we want.
Oh, I love that. It's so lovely. I'd definitely love to do that, and I'm definitely gonna do it. So thank you so much, Kings. And this will be a great place to end this episode. The nuggets of wisdom, questions, conversations, and this whole series have helped me navigate my marriage wiser. I am now excited on what's next in the relationship as we navigate the next natural stages of a romantic relationship. Dear listener, please share this episode so it can help the next person.
Thank you for your contribution in helping us to be chosen into the top 10 South Africa Family Podcast by Feedspot. Join our events and workshops, our monthly virtual connection circle every last Tuesday evening of the month, the Womb Goddesses Retreat, and our online coaching sessions. To receive your link, subscribe on our website www.uniqueyetconnected.com or check for updates on our socials at uniqueyetconnected.
In the next episode, we'll start to explore the counter-dependent stage. So excited for that.
If you feel like you are experiencing limiting patterns or relationship issues and would like to have an individual session, book a family constellation session with us on our website www.uniqueyetconnected.com or on socials, Facebook or Instagram. Our handle on both platforms is @uniqueyetconnected.
A big thank you to you for listening to our episode and to Nick Mons from That Guide Productions for making us sound fabulous and on point. Episode 58 is in 2 weeks' time from now. Tune in on the 27th of October 2024 from 10 a.m. South African Standard Time. For links and updates, stay tuned to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Unique Yet Connected. Unique spelled YOUNIQUE. Stay unique, stay connected, and remember you are one of a kind. And we can only create a really meaningful podcast together. Siyabulela, Kosonom, Vaya Danki. Till the next episode.
Thank you. Siyabulela, Kosonom, Vaya Danki.